And welcome to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. You're tuned in to Ask Desert Owl with Ninja Cat's wonderful production on this broadcast that we have going. And we're beginning a series. As of last night, we started to bring you the Gospel of the Kayla D by the great uncle of Yeshua, the uncle of Mary, his mother, Joseph of Arimathea. There is no town called Arimathea. It's Joseph. It's Volatia Fay, and it's the Zavram, which means the sovereign. And so you go listen to yesterday's program, and you'll be able to hear that. And I am your host, Desert Owl. Um, we're probably not getting any algorithm here this evening. We already had an opening that with some buffering and some problems, and so hopefully the announcements went out. Let me see if I got my announcement. Yeah, I did. Okay, good. So before we get into the read, I wanted to also mention that I'm going to do a little sample read of the Gospel of Thomas. This is the last book I just finished, and got posted up on Amazon and on Lulu and on um, the other. You can just go look at the links down below in the there's Kobo. Okay, Ninja puts it up on Kobo as well. So, but this Gospel of Thomas, I'm reading it myself every day. There's over 114 sayings in the Gospel of Thomas, and this is the extended version because I went into all the other scriptures, all the other lost writings, and found the relative fragments and brought them all together into one cohesive thought. Because there's a lot of things that happen to our scriptures throughout time, and just like when UNESCO, the United Nations team gives us their version of the scriptures. Well, that the UNESCO's United Nations, you think they're going to give you the real stuff, and of course, I know that when they produced the Nag Hammadi Library, they had an editor, and well, an editor is the guy that removes stuff. Okay, that's what ed means, to remove. Education, they removed from your curriculum what they didn't want you to know. So, so what it ultimately the Gospel of Thomas has become is a for our modern time an advanced uh, collection of the scriptures put together cohesively, and so it's a standalone. It literally is something that you will not hear anywhere else, and it's very inspiring. So I'm reading it every day, and I thought, wait a minute, if I want it every day, then I think that my friends out there would want to hear about it as well. So Ninja didn't get notified, so nobody's getting the notification other than yours truly. Okay, well that may be possible. So that's a drag, but that's been the name of the game all along, ladies and gentlemen. They've kept us down, um, and that's why it's been very frustrating. And I've been lax on the broadcast and just decided to do work on the translations. But now that we got some new material, we want to bring it to you. Okay, so I'll start with a sample read, and then I'm gonna do just a couple words. On my openers. I'm gonna do a couple words, and kind of like add a little spice to the presentation, because the I'm really this is happening to the two preachers down in Australia as well. There's a couple guys that come on as the two preachers, and literally they say that nobody's getting their notices. They do a great job. They show a lot of the events going on around the world, and then you send Bibles to Pakistan and stuff, and so it's not us. It's the who tube. It's the JEW tube, and they have it in for anybody that loves the Father above, that tells the truth about life, and wants to protect the family and nation. So that's really what they do to good people that dedicate their lives to serving and helping others. We know it. It's another branch of the media, and we know that they brought up the guys that invented it, and now they use it to deny information. And but that's okay. We're going to keep going. We'll eventually find another venue that we can go to. They're going to shut the internet down soon, but we're going to give it our best shot right here. So uh, all letters are pictures. Okay, Ninja's got one more message there. The live viewer numbers are wrong. Just ignore that. Okay, so we got more live viewers as well. Thank you, Ninja. Okay. Now my phone is ringing. Hang on. Spam risk. I guess I don't do that. Here's the only kind of phone call I get, ladies and gentlemen, is a. Okay, very good. Yeah, that's. I don't. Nobody wants to talk about the deep stuff. I just can't get over how when people are absolutely going into the another life real soon here, uh, they don't get. And this is I got a handful of friends, and except for Ninja, except for a few others, Lynn who comes on here, they don't get it, and they just uh, don't ever call and look at my work. I send it to them by PDF, and they say, don't say, hey, Desert, I'm looking at this. They're not looking at it. They don't have nothing. They don't feel they have anything they need to know or need to learn. They got their um, what was handed to them at birth, their programming, what they were programmed with, and so therefore that does not compute, and therefore there's no reason to have to work to know something. But yet I'm revealing a science that is, in other words, the science is that we've been scammed. We have been scammed, and we have been robbed. And don't you want to get back what was rightfully yours? Like in Revelations, it says that um, Yeshua says that I will give you a new name that nobody is naming. Okay, yeah, the name that they hid away and gave you. What I used to think was Greek, but now I know what it actually means in Indo-Germanic, and I don't even want to say it here right now. We'll do it later on down the road. We'll get into these words in particular, but the name is Yeshua, and then Yeshua is not the extreme; it's the middle ground between Joshua, and then we get Yeshua, and then Yeshua. But Yeshua is actually in the most primitive Yahshulin Va, Yahshulin Va, and it means the knowledge of the serpent that goes round. The serpent knowledge. It means about life. The serpent is life. That's why we'll remember in the wilderness, Moishans was told Moses was told put a serpent on the cross and go around the camp, and if people could see it, the people that had the sting of death, if they could see the serpent, they could live. So he was telling us right there that we have to see the serpent. What is the serpent in the primary symbolism beyond the sun, which is the cobra? The sun is the supporting cobra, means supporting brother or co-support. The sun is the serpent. Okay, a wise man was called a naga. That's the serpent. Wise man. Serpent is not a bad word, but yet there's two types of serpents. There's the white serpent and then the black serpent, like the yin and yang symbol going around, the male, female, the light and the darkness, the in and the out, the up and the down, the hot and the cold, the male and female. And so what do we see then at the end of time? 2,000 years ago, at the end of the world, that world. Okay, it says it right in Hebrews 9:27, is it? And at the end of the world, he came, right in Hebrews, right? And he's also nailed to the cross, showing us that that's the serpent that Moses nailed onto the cross. The bronze serpent represented Yeshua. But people, you're not going to get this from the Jesuit run, Masonic run pulpits that you see every Sunday on television, or you go there for 45 minutes and get your hallelujah fix, and then you go back and live a life, that is not responsible towards the sacred one. And so I'm always amazed because I actually publish it, put it in a book, and people don't get excited about it. So all letters are pictures. This is the opening to the book with the Gospel of Thomas, and it's really not the Gospel of Thomas, and I've got that in here. It's actually the Star Message of Enlightenment by Matthew Shalah. Okay, so all letters are pictures. They're all ancient symbols, and they are all true spiritual seeds of light that tell a real story. as they carry within them a dual theme about the great mystery of life. You can now follow this this pure trail all the way back in time, back to its very root eye, all the way back as we venture on then into that very beginning of time. A. Micah Hill, Desert Owl, The Science of Lexicography and Lexicography. Okay, even I stumble over these words. Okay, so so here we go with the preamble. These are the all mysterious breathings that the Aisha fire, Veta life giver, Yeshua, sparked with Judah, the atom, the duplicate, of which I, Matthew, Mathul Eshalah, have written down as I heard them, as they all spoke together. Number one, freed from death. I'll do if I have a couple short ones, I'll do a little bit more, and because I've got a couple short ones to start with, then I'll do the third one. So freed from death. So this is how the Veta life giver breathes. Whoever uncovers the mystery and interpretation of these breathings will no longer experience a death in exile, but a true life. Number two, seek the truth. Yeshua breathes, let the one who seeks the truth not stop looking until he finds it. But when he finds the truth, he will become challenged. Then after he becomes challenged, he will become strengthened. And this is when he will be able to rule over the all of this lower creation and find the Shalom of rest, the royal east with the one hiding within. The royal domain of the sun, the kingdom of heaven. Number three. And by the way, these are all laced with all these other writings that I got them from. I'll give an example here before I do three. Okay, so number three, I referenced all of these different scriptures: Matthew, Mark, Luke, Thomas, four other segments of Thomas: 51, 67, 111, 113. The Lost Gospel of John, Romans, 1 Corinthians, Galatians, Gospel of Truth, Job, Barnabas, Deuteronomy, Syriac, Dialogue of the Savior, Gospel of Mary, Second Clement, Tertullian, Advanced Marconium, Pseudo Marcus, Berthold, Clauster. Yeah, I get tongue twist on some of these other sources. The Great Letter, Maloney, a Manichaean Psalm Book, Hippolytus, Thomas the Contender, and the teachings of Sylvanus. Okay, so that's this. So this ultimately this creates a document that's a resource for the other lost writings. At the same time, is part of my point here, that that we've been robbed, as I was saying at the beginning, we've been robbed of our heritage, and they're all laced all over the place, fragments, and so we can get them back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we can get them back. So number three, Yeshua breathes, if those who are ruling you declare before you, you must see for yourself the kingdom of heaven. The royal domain of the sun is in the sky, then the birds of the air must hold a precedence over you. Or if others breathe before you, it is beyond the great ocean, then the fish must have the precedence over you. Or if they breathe, it is within the secret lodge, do not go with them. For the royal domain of the great house of the sun is to be found deep inside of you. And when you can know this, then you will see it revealed, and you will know that it is all around you. When you have come to identify with your true nature, then you will know, and then you will begin to comprehend that you are the offspring and the royal eyes of creation, a seed of the Aisha fire, a Veta life giver and the eye. He is breathing, the great father of all light. But if you are not willing to take a look at yourself and to know who you really are, then you must remain in that state of poverty. And it is you who is that poverty. The kingdom of heaven, the royal domain of the sun, must be pursued as it must be searched for. And so that's a sample, ladies and gentlemen, of the Gospel of Thomas, and we will do a little read at the beginning of each program. While I'm reading, and I can't help but think, like that phone call that I don't get any phone calls. Okay, I don't get any, and that was a spam risk, meaning they were, some type of sales deal. But the fact that they called me when I don't get any of these anymore, right at the start of the program, almost to me is like a high sign, that they're letting me know. I mean, I'm persecuted, I'm stalked, I'm gang stalked here locally, by the Freemasons, and I've been targeted for 6 years, and so I, pretty well just don't go out because it's safer just to stay here. It's not that I'm afraid of them, but I have my father's ministry that I have to protect, and so I don't go out but to get do the shopping, and then I come back, and so it's a bit challenging at times, and so they've played the phone games with me, and timing was always, the thing that they did. They've played this game with me before, and so I know that we're not getting any algorithm, and now it looks like we're not getting any notices. That's why we only have two here. We would never just have two, people listening in, and so the notices didn't get out, so that's the reason I'm mentioning this is because I want to, and so the joke is on them. The joke is on them. I have been given an offer to live forever by the sovereign of the universe, the one who made all things, and so that's the good news, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're getting the buffering. This YouTube is really a dog, and that's what they are. The priesthood are the dogs, and it's a dog because they're the best at playing games on society. They're child molesters, they're murderers, they're every indecent thing that anybody could ever want to talk about. I wanted to do a read tonight. Instead, I'm talking about them because they're the ones playing the game. Ninja, I'm just buffering like crazy. Are we done? Are we done? I guess they put the screws in for the program tonight. Are we done? Ninja, are you there? All right, it's good. All right, then I'll do a couple words. Oh, and then we got the chat. The chat. They've got a feature now. You got to consciously program to get the live chat, and so I just clicked on it because it's gonna bump people out if you don't program it to live chat. You like when I start typing these funny words, you might not see them. Okay, hey, there's Jeff with Join the Dots. Good to have you, Jeff. I don't know if you've been listening from the beginning. What I want to know, Jeff? Did you get a notice? Did you get a notice to come in? How did that happen? Because Ninja didn't get a notice, and none of our friends apparently got the notice that normally come in. So if you can give me heads up on that, did you get a notice to come in and listen? That'll be a nice report if you did. Okay, because it's difficult ramping it up. When we already didn't have a listening audience to speak of, but about a half a dozen friends, and things change over time, as you know, especially in this terrible time that we're in. And Jeff has joined the dots. He's got very creative work on his channel, so go check out Join the Dots. He's got about half a dozen channels because they keep canceling him out and blocking his programming. Okay, so I'm going to start with I'll tell you what, I'm going to skip the words tonight until we can work out this problem. And I'm not much on doing a word presentation without any group of people that are watching. It's I get inspired by having a group of friends that are listening in. And Jeff, if you would tell your listenership about us as well, that they can join our program 8 o'clock Eastern time every day. We're going to do 7 days a week now because we have a lot of the lost writings. I'm just going to get into the read because the read is a lot easier to do and a little bit more satisfying right now than trying to do a word presentation for. Okay, and you're saying no notice today or yesterday. There you go. Okay, they put the screws to us. We just started fresh, and their little YouTube, excuse me, put it in one to put one more fix in for us to make sure that we can't build an audience. They follow the Babylonian Talmud if you hadn't figured that out. And but thank you for that, Jeff. Yeah, so yeah, just remembered. Okay, that you missed us yesterday, right? So what time is that in England? If it's 8 o'clock over here, we started 30 minutes ago. 8 o'clock Eastern time. What time would that be where you're at over there in England? I think you're not far away from London, Jeff. So what I'm going to guess it's about 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 2 a.m. over there. I know you stay up late. I'm going to guess it's about 2 a.m. over there in Great Britain. And we got a delay, so he'll give an answer in a second here. So I'm going to go ahead and get a sip of my drink first. And then, yeah, what a drag. These people, they at YouTube, they literally hate their own world. They're communists. That's basically what it is. They're the Communist Front and the secret societies. Excuse me. Okay. The thing that's really sad about having all the different venues now is that people don't know where to go anymore to hear information. So it divides. It's another way of dividing and conquering, because when there could have been one venue where you can get all your information, now you've got to go to 7 or 8 different venues and try to find good presentations and miss a lot. So it's 1:30 over there now. Okay, thank you for that, Jeff. Appreciate it, bro. And all right, so we're on the Kayla D, chapter 1. I was gonna get motivated and do a couple chapters, but I think we'll close it out because we got to work on getting an email program together and finding a way to let our friends know. So okay, so chapter 1. Strength and courage be yours, and greetings to my brothers in Doiva. And just to qualify this again, remember Joseph, we read the introduction, and Joseph of Arimathea, who is correctly Voloshefe, the sovereign, they had to escape to England, and so they moved there. And so this is part of the story. The beginning is not, this is not the actual gospel yet. It's an introduction to the story of Joseph and how he got to England, and then brings on the gospel. It comes up around the 2nd chapter, I think. And then there's also an interjection by one of the writers who pulled this together. I'll identify it when we get there, but that's the thing that's really interesting about this. This thing has gone through a process of preservation by others, from the point of its origin. So chapter 1, by Joseph of Arimathea, correctly Voloshefe, the star ram, the Avram. There is no town called Arimathea. Strength and courage be yours, and greetings to my brothers in Doiva, the Kofrils at Karimba. Know that I have been cast out of Jerusalem, Yarule Shalom, with my other brothers, but of the places wherein they shelter, I have no knowledge. It is a time of heart-searching sorrow, as for the inspirational lights are being snuffed out, and a dark night of ignorance descends. They who oppose us in the government are strong. Sounds nothing new under the sun, ladies and gentlemen, right? They who oppose us in the government and their institutions are strong. Sure they are. They're wicked. Not only in weaponry, but more so in guile. There you go. And they have the support of the dark invaders, the mother sons of darkness, right? Mother sons of darkness, Masons. Hundreds of precious books, the life work of diligent hands, have been used to heat the cooking pots, and there is a constant searching out for all which does not align with their craft of Babylonian traditions. Since there are many versions of this story, and most are not in conflict, concerning the matters we hold to be true, so I have taken it upon myself to prepare this one for you from the writings saved while in flight. And Joseph and his family were put on boats with Lazarus and his sisters and Mary from Magdala, and they were all put adrift in the Mediterranean Sea by the Sanhedrin, and they hoped that they would die, but naturally by the grace of the Father above, they survived and went on. And so he took as many books as he could under his clothing. It was that bad, right? Lost everything. These cruel, wicked, these merchants, these profiteers, these occultists, um, they're the same. They're the same group of Freemasons, just under a different name. The word Pharisee just simply means, you can see it in the word Pharaoh, and it literally means the chosen. So these Pharisees are calling themselves the chosen, and that's what the Pharaoh is calling himself, right? He's sitting on the sun throne. He's saying he is the voice of the one who rules from the throne in the sun, the Spirit, which is not true, of course. But anyway, so I just wanted to add that little tidbit there. Okay, so pitifully few are the books that were salvaged from the great conflagration and brought out under our coats, inadequate undergarments for cold bodies, but not comfortless companions to warm the heart. Perhaps what I write here in my cold solitude will, in the days to come, dance on the tongues of the multitude, gladdening the hearts of those who rest in greater comfort. Be on your guard, my brothers. Talk well out of the mouth and eat of the wind, for uncomfortable abodes await those who place the tongue in command. In other words, like loose lips sink ships, and the spies are everywhere. That's what he means. And this is by a commentator now, one verse. In order that the truth may be properly displayed, I have united in one narrative the diverse accounts brought to these shores by the Kaledi, the wise strangers, in the days of the battle for light, when the covering of Herthu, the Hebrew, descended upon Inhoc Karadu, led by the wise Eliud, that's Joseph, the noble star navigator, Joseph from Arimathea, but correctly, the star ram, the sovereign. They were compatible companions with the brave and noble Britons. Joseph of the sovereign continued. I have carefully copied the accounts of that Yochanan, John, that's the John the Evangelist, he was well acquainted with, whom we call Numa, who knew our earthly father, touching all the events of his time, according to the books which have been written by him and left for us. Here is the book of Yalganun, John, the enlightened of Elohim, the Zulafim, and that's they switched that out for the word God, but it's Elohim, which is correctly Zulafim, and the book of the Nazarene, the Nazarene. There is no town called Nazareth, another scam, one after another. That's what we are trying to point out to the people, that we have been robbed, and it seems as if literally nobody cares, for the work that we pulled together. We're truly the underdog here, but that's okay, because as the Father said, there's few that are going to be saved, and it's not any wonder why, because they're happy to have their corrupted versions. The old wine that turned into vinegar, that's what the symbolism was up on the cross when he said, I thirst, meaning he was thirsty for the truth. And so they put up on a sponge, on a spear, the wine vinegar. And so they put it up to his mouth, and he tasted it, and because it was not palatable, he turned his face away from the offer to have a drink. Because so that wine vinegar represents the doctrine of Yerul Shalom, Jerusalem, and the priesthood, the Babylonian, Talmudic, Masonic, piece of garbage priesthood. Okay? The liars and the deceivers. of society, the rapers and the pillagers, the murderers of mankind. Well, let me try this again. I have carefully copied the accounts of that Yalganun John, whom we call Numa, who knew our earthly father, touching on all the events of his time, according to the books which have been written by him. And he was the number one writer. He was the top writer of all of them, which included his brother James. These were the sons of thunder. And sons of Zebedee is a code for the sons with the gift. What was the gift? They were Levitical scribes, speed writers. And then Matthew Shalah, who also was the one who wrote the Hebrew Gospel of Matthew to the priesthood for the end, the final book in the legacy of pseudo Israel, who was banished in 724, circa 724 BC. Israel no longer existed from that point on. Here is the book of Yalganun, the enlightened of the Elohim, and the book of the Nazarene, and the all illuminated ones. But the book of Indrakis and the book of sayings by the wise Iliad, that's again Joseph, are with our brother Luid and his group in Branset. These bring all who follow and fight for the cause of truth a message simple but sublime, meaning one only thing. Eshan can break free from the fetters of time. You got to love the truth, because the truth is not a part of any lie. To spread wings of the spirit and fly to eternity. Borne upward by an inspirational strengthening out, flowing from the Yahweh, misnomered as Yahweh, misnomered as Lord. No Eshan lives and no Eshan dies by himself alone. All must live by the efforts of others, and dying takes something from them. For this reason, when living, it is well to give, for giving is not least among the obligations of the Avatar, the life. When I lay down my burden, when I am worn out, there will be better men, better Eshan, young and strong to carry the light of truth on high. They will climb by the steps that I have cut, mounting by the ladder I have made, never knowing the artisan's proper title or name. They will perhaps laugh at my clumsy workmanship, but I pray they will not despise it. If they do no more than utilize whatever good they find, when I have served well and go happily to my rest. It is well to write these things, though in truth there is none to lend me an ear, but many who would ply my back with rods. Yet whatever is conveyed into the ears and comes out through the mouth of a Shen, no matter how manifestly true it must be of itself, always tends to assume a form of less worthwhile substance. And it is subject to more misinterpretations, distortions, than when it is transmitted through the inarticulate quill. What issues from the mouth is so often unlike that going into the ear, that surely between the two there must be a strange transmitter, or I have it here, transmuter. Yeah, transmuter. There you go. It is no easy burden laid upon me. The light of truth guides Eshen safely through the most troubled waters, Voltsar. But if that light be deflected or distorted, or if the fuel on which it feeds be impure, it may well become the light destroyer, leading them to destruction. Lights are the hearts attending the food tables, laughing and joking around the drinking horn of liquor. But heavy is the heart carrying around so much weight of responsibility. I am one who can overcome the distractions between Isus and Yeshua. You see, so he's pointing out that they changed the name back then. I have it the literal sense, Isus. Let me read that again. I am one who can overcome the distinctions between Isus and Yeshua, because it was probably the Greek that was influencing at that point. Reconciling the clear virgin of pure light, who Mary represented, the Freya, the Zulafhaim, in contrast with the mystic mother occult of darkness. Let me read that again. I am one who can overcome the distinctions between Isus and Yeshua, reconciling the clear virgin of pure light in contrast with the mystic mother occult of darkness. There's your Columbia in modern time. Lucifer. I can place the clear moon-filled chalice beside the golden blood-filled cup of light, the cup of the sun, in other words, and make the clear distinction between sun and moon. And that was the issue right from the beginning when Keva said to Hadam, if we do this thing, you will not die. And she goes, well, did he, it is not say that, that we would, were we not told that it would teach us the difference between, what we have is good and evil, but it wasn't. It was the difference between sun and moon. Sun and moon, you see? That's because it's based on reference point, and original thought is based on pointing to something in nature. It's derived that way. That way you don't forget the word and you don't forget the symbol. The serpent. The question is, who was the serpent? Not what, but who. We talked about that. It's on the Cosmic Essence channel. Go check it out. All right. So where was I? Okay, 17. Let me just take another sip. Tell you what, Ninja, let's go to a break real quick. This is a good stopping point because we're going to cut it short tonight anyway. And I just need to rest my voice. Got a little excited at the beginning. And so let's go to a musical interlude. And when we get back, we'll read the rest of chapter 1 of the Gospel of the Kayla D. What they didn't want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, but we tell right here because somebody's got to do it. And I'm just a glutton for that kind of punishment. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Okay, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second segment on the Ask Desert Owl program, Lost Kayla D Gospel by Joseph of Arimathea. To discover, these were people that had lives and they wrote a lot. They wrote a library, and the library has been stolen. It was taken to Constantinople around 300, circa 300 A.D. through 318 AD, right around there, and by Eusebius, and otherwise he probably would have been killed by Constantine, who was not so great, but he was a tyrant. Constantine the tyrant. That's what we should call him. And they morphed Mithraism into what they call Christianity. Of course, it was originally the people of the way, and that's the way it should be. The people of the way. What way? The way of Yeshua. The way that he spoke, the way that he taught, and the terminologies that were used. Okay, that's relevant. You think that you can just go from a university level of book study and go back into a Dick and Jane reader? Okay, we got buffering going on, Ninja. Am I coming through? Can you hear me? All right, thank you. All right, so let's pick it back up on verse 17, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, the only way we're going to get the word out to other people to come and listen is by your help. If you could uh, share on your channel, about our program, or by email, copy our link by email, and share it out there, that'd be a big help. If you're listening in, you know that you're hearing some things that you just aren't going to get anywhere else. It's a lifetime of study, and I define the true nature of things. At the end here, we would take your call if you wanted to call in. What do you want to talk about? Because I've done a lifetime of study. That's all I've done. I gave up having a normal life to do this type of work. So from the political science, I can tell you how the bankers run the world. Okay, like no one else can right now, because I've got the last pieces to this puzzle together. They don't just fund the wars; they wage the wars. They make the propaganda films and movies, right? They fund it. They make the propaganda films. You know who they are, right? They're the Khazars. They're the Ashkenazi. There's your word Nazi. That's where the word Nazi came from. It's a big mystery, ladies and gentlemen, but um, the truth can be known. It's all an open secret. They're good at covering their trail, but nonetheless, the trail is still there, and you can follow it. And that's what we talk about, And anyway, let's get back to it. I can combine. I left off. I'll start on 16, so we can go back, to the point and dovetail it together. I am one who can overcome the distinctions between Isus and Yeshua, reconciling the clear virgin of pure light in contrast with the mystic mother occult of the darkness. I can place the clear moon-filled chalice beside the golden blood-filled cup of the light of the sun and make the clear distinction. I cannot combine the star-girt circles of eternity with the lowly circles. And excuse me, let me try this again. I can combine. I need one more light on this part of my problem. Hang on. Forgot it. I can combine the star-girt circles of eternity with the lowly cross and the surrendered suffering sun with the victorious battle inspiring fighter. I am one who has welcomed the age when the floodgates of knowledge Volke is the literal sense of knowledge. That's a code, and we'll talk about it on one of the openers real soon. Okay, so let me try this again. I am one who has welcomed this golden age of light when the floodgates of our knowledge are open wide, so that no Ashan perishes through lack of the refreshing water, Voltsar, who knows what our angered assailants with their dark ways, harboring their concealed mysteries, will spawn from the far-ranging harbors and their circles. They trail like shackled slaves after the grudging offerings of those who seek only worldly power, disclaiming the knowledge, the Volkanova ledge, that is held by their firm standing brothers. Tongue in cheek for that. Let us who are homebound, or excuse me, homeborn, stand as one in all things, and not the least in conviction. The victory of light. Viction. No con on it. Viction. The victory of light. For we are surrounded by dark bearded men, Ashen, with very strange ways. Swordless, we can only appeal for the power of light to become the smasher of dark swords. In this condemned world, created from the three fountains springing up from the A Spirit land, the sun, that's the A Spirit land, the sun. In the beginning, the great breath moved across the cosmic waters and then breathed into the sun, into a star, and then there is light. In this condemned world created by the three fountains, that's sun, earth, and moon, those are the three fountains, springing up from the A Spirit land, from the sun. They are the children of the sun, came out of the sun. Here it is in his own words, behind the wall of the black cosmic curtain of mystery. We can only play the part which accords with our own abilities. The clerk cannot become a sword fighter, or the husbandman a yudke, a judge. Otherwise, confusion would reign supreme. The brick has its proper place and cannot replace the lintel. Neither can the hearthstone become a door. So now I speak to you through the mercy of the Elohim, who has brought me to a safe, although a cold and desolate haven over there in Britannia. Yet is not its very discomfort compatible with my work? For overmuch comfort and ease are the handmaidens of sloth. My preordained purpose is therefore to apply myself diligently to the task in hand. The sustaining myself and my quill by the furry bodies of animal skins stolen from beasts. I send you therefore my endowment and the true message of the Yahweh, Lord, Ave and Tawe, that is the Tav and the Kavath, the Alpha and the Zomega. That's in essence what he has here. They didn't translate it right. A spirit king, Malachi, Yeshua, and the great father of all, the Yahweh, Yahweh. These are wholesome and beneficial writings, a river of eshavors, of words, outflowing from the ever-living source of all life. They are not unworthy of even the greatest Malak, king. He who receives them, safeguarding them from distortion and convenient misinterpretation, absorbing and practicing what they seed plant, what they teach, will not pass into the circles of darkness, but enjoy an everlasting upward striving life in the bright circle of light. Happy are those who are liberated from the earth life and awakened to the sovereignty and the pure shelter within the circle of all illumination. May the knowledge, the volcanovalage of the unseen Yahweh, Lord, and the light of his truth be with you always. By the way, Lord means sunrise. So when someone said, yes, my Lord, what they were really saying is, yes, my sunrise. Because the lords were the one that fed the populations. You know, they were all dependent upon the Lord, the sunrise. Where was I? Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay. So may the knowledge of the volcanovelage of the unseen Yahweh and the light of his truth be with you always. Above all, be strong in the light. It is not sufficient to be a light bearer, for the light is a fragile thing and needs iron-hearted protectors. Fine words, eshavors, serve well enough, but serve better when supported by strong and resolute arms. Therefore, not only must you abide with the written pure shelter, law of light of the Yahweh, ordained for the benefit of Ashan, you must also keep sharp weapons for their defense. It is well enough to preach great principles to a quiet listening crowd, but the value of these principles are best tested before a hostile demonstration. May the strengthening spirit fill your heart, and the guiding A spirit turn you away from every form of blindness, both protecting you from every assailant. May the comforting spirit have compassion on your weakness and tend your wounds when you are struck down by those knowledgeable in worldly games and craft. May the doorways of your heart be ever open to admit the light of truth, the key knowledge, the volcanovelage, that the inner chamber of your being becomes so enlightened, you may there perceive by your own soul in the fullness of its illumination and power. The differences between right and wrong, light and darkness, key knowledge and ignorance are great indeed. But no Ashan can span the gulf between and embrace the two within himself. Implying that the gulf in between is the gulf in between the sun and the earth. You see, you can't embrace both. You can only embrace one or the other. You're only of one or of the other. Yet men choose the darkness along with the light, but this is because they can find deceptive pleasure with a P for their money that they rake in every week. The king lives in a palace. It is the place to which he belongs. It is a compatible residence for him. The swine, they live in a sty. It is the place to which they belong. It is compatible, and therein, wallowing in muck, it finds pleasure. The king enjoys beauty. The swine enjoys filth. And the funny part about the Masons who enjoy deceiving, they are deceived themselves thereby. The king enjoys beauty. The swine enjoys filth. The king for the palace and the swine for the mud pen, while each enjoys its own place, and the realm of darkness forever for the mother sons of darkness, the Freemasons. There are, as you know, and I added those words, of course, ladies and gentlemen. There are, as you know, two spirit. Are we getting buffering, Ninja? You got to tell me to stop if I'm not getting through. Are we okay? Ninja, can you hear me? All right, I see the circle going around periodically. Okay, 34. There are, as you know, this is why people, you want to get the book anyway, because you want to read this and have it for when the internet shuts down. You want these words for the time of gaining strength, because this book is beyond. We always need new material to inspire us, and this is unadulterated Vita Vatican, and so you want to get this for your family and for your heart. Okay, drawn towards the seat of darkness. We who are of the light need not fear the forces of nature, which project out from the light. This is such a beautiful verse. I I was really captured by it when I was looking at it the other day, reading it. I'm going to read it again. Let me take a sip here. Hang on. We who are of the light need not fear the forces of nature which project out from the light. But what about the dark natures which are hostile towards the light? In other words, mankind, right? That's where it comes from. People, not invisible demons, not invisible devils, not invisible, Satans, all of these terms they don't know the meaning of. Got little things flying. No, it's man. Man, 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 which means criminal and sinner in Old English. It means something worse than the Babylonian Talmud. So go figure why they want you to call yourself a man, which is the root form of the word moon, the seed of darkness. Does anybody care about this at all out there? It just boggles my mind that people want to, quote their scriptures. Jesus loves you. Yes, I know, for the Bible tells me so. And they think that's, all they need to know. It blows my mind. We who are the light need not fear the forces of nature which project out from the light. But what about the dark natures which are hostile towards the light? These are the unwelcome intruders, moving stealthily through Earth's circles of life, bringing sickness and corruption to whatever they touch. Yeah, it sounds like those Freemasons, doesn't it? And those Jesuits, those yeah. If we attribute light to the source of light, must we not also attribute dark? If light intrudes us to spawners, the spawners of dark natures are not coupled with the source of light. They have cut themselves off from it. For even as the tree grub protects itself from the sunlight, which would otherwise destroy it, so must the blind swarm protect itself. My brothers, rejoice with me. Stand up in the flowing light, with me in the light. Find love as for your neighbors, for is not love the greatest light of life? My strength goes not untested in the solitude. Sometimes I am overshadowed by clouds. I meditate on the ways of life and consider what is a shan. Can you say serpent? He appears suddenly out of the darkness, entering the light of a well-lit performing arena, where for one brief moment his role is played out like an actor on a stage. Should I hold back, Ninja? Ninja, are you there? Yeah. Okay, so maybe we'll pick it up right here then. You can't hear me, right? All right. We'll pick it up here tomorrow then. All right, we'll give it one more shot. You got to let me know if my voice is not going through, if we're buffering. Okay, I don't want to do all this reading and have a botched job. I'd rather stop and wait till it clears, or we can stop the program. We can stop the program, pick it up the next day. Go ahead. What? Well, but we shouldn't be delayed in Skype. We shouldn't be delayed in Skype. Okay. So, okay. Well, I don't know why that is, but so like I said, we're just communicating so we can figure out how to work around this. All right. So I got you. Yeah, I got you. Okay, thank you. All right. So we'll give it one more. We'll give it one more shot, ladies and gentlemen. My strength goes on not untested in the solitude. Sometimes I am overshadowed by clouds. I meditate on the ways of life and consider what is a shan. And by the way, Eshan means the royal eyes that came down. Most people are not worthy of their eyes, just like they're not worthy of their salt when they're on a voyage on a ship in ancient time. We're not worthy of our eyes, not worthy of them because we can't see. He appears suddenly out of the darkness, entering the light of a well-lit performing arena for one brief moment. His role is played out like an actor on a stage. He flashes, and wonder who those actors were, right? Think about it, right? They're always been there. They're the ones who killed Lincoln, right? He even jumps off the stage. John Wilkes Booth, not afraid to have people know who he is because he's in the Knights of the Golden Circle, the circle of darkness. They call it golden for light, but it's the circle of darkness. Nothing new under the sun. He flashes, we should maybe say nothing new under the moon. He flashes on the stage in an all-illuminated moment out of eternity before vanishing back again into the unknown. Briefly, he dances like a shadow cast by flickering candlelights to merge back again with the surrounding darkness. When the candle burns no more, it seems presumptuous of mere Eshan to set themselves up as interpreters of their own state. As sometimes I ask myself, so who really knows what Eshan is and where he goes? It is good that so many inquire. So who has come back from that mysterious region outside the circle of the all-illuminating sun to tell us what lies way out beyond the deep of darkness, to relate this experience and true knowledge gained? This is when my heart rises up above these limited conditions and I see way beyond the limited quarters of space and time with all of its deprivations and filth. Because I know that indeed such a return has been made. Here we listen to what's being read here. Who, what, where, when, why, how, what? Because I know that indeed he's answering his own question, right? He's saying, who went up to the sun and came back? He's answering it right here. Because I know that indeed such a return has been made, that the shadow can never lose its affinity with the substance of its creation. Doubt is merely an earthly condition imposed upon Eshan for their own self-denial. Its benefits are no less great for not being readily apparent. It seems that volcanovolege knowledge of what lies beyond the enveloping shadow must, by the very nature of things, be withheld from the multitude of Eshan. Certainly, and assurance are, try this again, it should be certain, yes, certainty. And assurance are manifestly not a part of this earthly estate. It is also in the nature of Eshan that he too quickly engages in the things that have an unfavorable effect on his own mission in life. I still yearn for our brother Lanvid, Yeshua. He calls him Lanvid, but he's talking about his nephew, Yeshua. Companion of my former days, the lightener of my life's burdens. Yet I grieve no more than due, for his ace spirit has cast off the restrictions and the limitations of the body, the vate, the bud eye, the flower that's waiting to be opened, the vate, the serpent eye, and took upon himself the forms of radiant light, flying up on mysterious wings to the circle of radiance in the sun. He has escaped the dead world of emptiness and is now clothed in the garment of all illuminating light. He has departed to the harbor, free from the selfish serpent nature of an earthly struggle. He has flown beyond our sight and hearing. Still, he is not far away, dwelling within the free dimension of compatible spirit minds. Often in my solitude, I say, I wish I were a barren tree, bearing neither blossom nor fruit. For the pains of fertile generosity are harder to bear than the woes, the judgments of barrenness. I am often perplexed in my heart, for in worldly matters I am not always a knowledgeable Eshan. But I throw away these untoward thoughts for a truth. Life must be lived to its fullness. But it cannot be unless it is utilized to make a beneficial contribution to the lives of others. Let us here go forward, since we are apart only in time and distance. Let us not be like Eshan of yesterday, whose eyes were fixed upon the shadows of the past, nor like a Shen who live in the future, preparing for events which never happen, while being fully unprepared for the unexpected here and now. If we truly claim to have the light, then should we not be in the fountain, in the front and not the rear? Let us, for this reason, go forward and take our rightful place within the front line. Joseph of Arimathea, Ramta, Volei Shafei, Ha Zavran, Joseph the Star Ram, Volei Shafei, the Sovereign. And tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, Father willing, we'll be on chapter 2. And so you heard it here first, and I want to thank you for tuning in. We're going to expand our program as much as possible to talk a little bit more about words, and we're going to continually bring on lost writings that you have never heard before. And we have something coming up really special after this gospel, and it's going to take, we're going to do one chapter a day, but if I get motivated, I may do 2, and we'll get through it quicker, and then we'll get on to the next lineup that is going to blow your mind. We've really got some powerful material here that nobody's heard before. Okay, so coming up next, Lifetime of Study and Collecting is coming your way because most people didn't have the time. They were so busy raising families and doing the other things that need to be done just to survive, people, and to struggle, not having the money, not having the benefit of the bullpits, the bulls at the bullpit, the Jesuit Jew bulls, Freemasonic Jew bulls, telling the people the truth, because they're mother sons of darkness and they don't want you to transcend. So they killed you the day you came into the world with your birth certificate, and you were dead on arrival. That's why you're called a child, because child means chilled and killed and cold, all the same word in the Germanic. Okay, so you don't want a child, you have a youth, you have a vave. Baby is vave. You can hear it. The B is a V. The baby is a vave. It's sound wave. Let me just type that in as the final close right here, okay, so you can see it. Okay, baby, B-A-B-Y is V-A-V-A-Y. Vave. Vave. This is the sound wave. In other words, it's the baby is the sound waves, okay? It's also the V-A-V-A-V-A-V-A. It's the same thing. It's the beginning of life. Started with the sound. It's beautiful, It's all been in our face all of our lives, and nobody has told us about the truth that was always right in front of us. They've lied to us about everything, and they're so proud of themselves because, ladies and gentlemen, there is no freedom. It is only slave management, and you are the slave on their plantation. All the nations are imaginations. Everything is a fraud. They still, I can't get over. I still got friends that I have that are counting on Trump. Trump's coming in. He's the queue is on. Go baby, go. Yeah, blah, 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 And it's all a stage. It's all an illusion. They're watching cartoons and they're caught up in it. And it's not theirs. The world is not theirs. None of it is theirs. The Communist Party founded America May 1st, 1776. May 1st. And then we got the 4th of the July. 4th of July, 2 months later. But yet, sorry, it's a maxim of law that whoever makes the first claim is the owner. And so the Communist Party and the you-know-who bankers, the you-know-who, J.W. bankers, claimed America. Okay? It's always been a banking game, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever has the money controls everything. Whoever can, that's why in Rome, there's literally today more Roman coins today than any other national coin still, because they just let the presses roll, baby. Let the presses roll, and we'll give the people, and then we'll tax them, and then they'll have to give it back to us. What a scam. What a game, right? If we can print all we need, why do we want to get it back from them? Because it's not about anything other than control of the slaves. Keep them fooled. With that, ladies and gentlemen, you just got the Forbidden History series. It's what they didn't want you to know, that we tell right here, because somebody's got to do it. Look for us tomorrow. We'll make a point of being here at 8 p.m. Eastern time every day, unless we have to take a special night off, because we don't get any promotion. We don't get any algorithm. You're not going to probably get a notice. It seems that our friends here tonight didn't get a notice. Not one of them, just me. They were fooling me, right? And free dumb. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Join the dots. Free dumb. Yeah, it's as dumb as you can get, right? And yeah, I'll work for peanuts. What else can I do? Anything else? Yeah, I'm just Bubba on the plantation. And hey, don't talk down about my America. Red, white, and blue, buddy. And then, wait a minute, the French flag is red, white, and blue. Oh, and the Russian flag is red, white, and blue. And the British flag is red, white, and blue. I guess we must be red, white, and blue, and black and blue all over it, ladies and gentlemen. It's got to be true, right? We'll find out. Just stay tuned, and we'll look for you tomorrow night. Thanks for tuning in. Do tell your friends, won't you? We need your support. Let's get the word out. Let's have a revolution in thinking. We'll see you.
Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils, catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night, flaming flowers that brightly blaze, swirling clouds in violet haze, reflect in Vincent's eyes of china blue, colors changing hue. Morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined in pain, are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now, for they could not love you, but still your love was true. And when no hope was left inside on that starry, starry night, You took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Starry, starry night, portraits hung in empty halls, frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget, like the strangers that you've met, the ragged men in ragged clothes, a silver thorn, a bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never